So if you're applying to PT school for the second time, a re-applicant, the first year you got rejected and now you're trying again. So in the part of the PTCAS application, it asks you, what have you done to strengthen your application? And you might be wondering, scratching your head, like, I don't know what to write. So in this video, I'm gonna help you know, I'm gonna tell you exactly what you should write in there. What's up, you guys? My name is Dr. Live for a Change, Justin Lee, physical therapist. I'm a PT school admission expert and I help students get accepted into PT school for the first time and also the second time. So check this out. If you are a student who is reapplying for PT school, unfortunately you've applied before and you've gotten rejected from all the programs you've been applying to, whether it's waitlisted and then rejected or just rejected across the board. You're gonna have to show that you've done something to strengthen your application, right? So there's a couple things that I think you can do practically that I'm gonna teach you to help strengthen your application. Number one, I mentioned to you with the part of the essay where it says, what have you done to strengthen your application? Okay, so in this section, you have a lot of characters to write. I think it's about 4,500 characters to pretty much justify and explain yourself on what you've done to improve. So in this section, this is where you need to write objectively and share objectively what you have done. Now, objectively means what, like, are you able to measure this? So can you answer, so some things that will help you to know if it's objective or not is, can you answer a yes or a no to this? Like, have you retaken some classes? Yes or no, right? Have you increased your observation hours? Yes or no? Also, objective means you could measure this, right? So that means if you're able to put some numbers or some grades into this, then that would be helpful. So for example, if you've retaken chemistry, you first got a C, now you got an A, right? At first, if you had 50 observation hours, now you have 200 observation hours, things like that. So you need to make sure that in this part of the application, you are objectively sharing what you have done to improve your application. And unfortunately, if you went a whole year without doing anything to improve your application, then we're gonna have to strategize a couple things on how to narrate your story of how to do this. So if you're a student and you need help with that, I do one-on-one coaching to help you out. I have students who have been reapplicants, got them in the second time because we were able to really emphasize on this part. So if you're interested in that, please sign up for one-on-one coaching, fill out my application. You can go to my Instagram page, handle Live for a Change, just like my YouTube channel, and I'll get in contact with you once you fill that out. But so what this part of this section of the essay, the PTCAS essay part, you know, something that you can really talk about is, one, what you have done to improve. That's the first part, so objectively. And then the second part is, what have you learned? This is really important. What have you learned? Because this dives deeper into sharing your struggles, sharing your story, sharing that, like, okay, the first time around you've done it this way, but you've learned that, like, okay, you need to be more serious with your academics, more serious about your future. You know, before, when you were taking chemistry, you got a C because you just kind of messed around. You're maybe a freshman, sophomore, but now you took it seriously and then you got an A, and you're really emphasizing the importance of your career and your future. Right? That's gonna be really important. If you only put that you've increased your observation hours, I would say that's not really a strong point to come across. If that's the only thing that you've done to improve your application, we need to figure out some more things to really buff this up, because all the students just continue to be aides and all the students will just increase their hours. And a lot of students will not go through that process of retaking classes because they don't want to. But PT schools want students who want this, right? And they're willing to do whatever it takes. So if you've retaken classes and you've gotten better grades in them, this is a huge leverage that you can use to write in this part of your application. Secondly, if you have done some extracurriculars, maybe some volunteer hours, maybe you've been a part of some kind of volunteer service or community service, this is stuff that you can put in here as well. And how many hours or how many events, right? Does it answer yes or no? And is there a number that you can put on this? That's an experience that you can say what you did to improve your application. In addition, what have you learned with that, right? So you can write all this stuff down in that part of the application. Secondly, with the things that I just mentioned, making sure that you apply early is also gonna help you out. Chances are when you applied last year, you probably applied pretty close to the deadline, and the program that you applied to probably had rolling admissions. So if the deadline was like October 1st and the school that you applied to has rolling admissions, you probably applied pretty close to September, near the end of September. And at that point already, you already had hundreds of applicants apply before you, already getting spots in. And now they're looking at your application amongst the hundreds of others just for like 2 remaining spots, right? So maybe that's why you got waitlisted or rejected. So what does that mean, practically speaking? This time around, if you are applying for PT school, you should definitely be applying before August or during the month of August. That's like the best chance, the best month for you to start applying and getting things in. If you could do it earlier, that's even better. But I know that the PTCAS essay and supplemental questions can be a big barrier to apply earlier. But please do that, right? Make sure you write all these things in the part of the what have you done to strengthen your application, and also this part where you're applying early. Oh my gosh, so many students mess this up because they do not apply early for this rolling admission process. And it sucks because you have to go through a whole PTCAS application cycle all over again just because you didn't prepare just a couple months in advance. And now you're suffering the consequences of a whole entire year. So if you're watching this video right now and you're applying this year, make sure you are going to apply as soon as possible by August, like I mentioned. Or if you're a student watching this and you're going to apply in the future, make sure you apply early. All right, now if you need some help, one-on-one coaching, like I mentioned, I've helped a ton of students, help them to get accepted into PT school the second time around, right? So we have to take a real hard look at what you've done with your application, what your experiences look like, and that section where it says, what have you done to strengthen your application? We have to really narrate the story to help you sound compelling, to help you sound like you've done some stuff in the past to boost up your application so that you are really serious of getting accepted. I can help you out with that. Like I mentioned, go to my Instagram page, fill out the application, and I'll get in contact with you. All right, everyone, every day is a great day to lift weights, lift others, and lift yourself up. Stay lifting, lift for change.